And that's just one of the problems facing the government at the moment. We're joined by the Deputy Editor of Spiked Online, Fraser. My goodness, it just gets worse and worse for the government here, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It seems as if they might have known that this ban was in place. The government's line is that they were told that there could be a ban, that a ban had been proposed, but they weren't told of a decision, and perhaps also it might not have been escalated to Shabana Mahmood. I suppose, to the government's credit, as soon as this did become public, they made very clear where they stand, and I think they've taken the right approach. This ban, I think, brings shame upon our entire country, because the police are essentially admitting that they cannot keep visiting Israelis, visiting Jews, let's face it, that's what this is really about. They cannot keep them safe, and they have acquiesced to the forces that do not, that would be attacking them. So,
well, I know it was said a lot yesterday, but it's about mob rule, that, isn't it? If people who are, whatever you think of the overall situation, you've got visiting people who would be potentially the victims of attacks, and you're saying, don't come, we can't protect you. And that is acquiescing to the other side.
Absolutely, it's acquiescing to the mob, and in this case, acquiescing to racism. And it's really important to stress that when we talk about potential violence, this match being high risk, the risk is pretty much all towards those visiting Israeli fans. So if you look back at Amsterdam, there's been a lot of muddled discussion about this, but the facts are clear. There were scores of arrests. I think over 60 arrests, but only 10 of those were of the Israeli Maccabi fans. 4 people were hospitalised. Only Israeli fans were hospitalised. And actually, 4 people have now been convicted for organising what they described themselves as a Jew hunt. They said that they were going to find and track down cancer Jews. They said, let's get some effing Jews.
Yeah, that's Nazi speak.
This is Nazi speak. And I'm afraid this is potentially what could happen in Birmingham. But, when that kind of thing when there's a risk of that kind of thing, it's the job of the police to step up and protect people, not to give in to that kind of potential violence.
If we're saying this is racism, then what are we doing about the MP Ayub Khan? He's an independent, as I understand it, who put out a petition for people to sign, calling for these fans to be banned, and then welcomed the decision when it came out. He's couched it all round safety.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, does he not have some questions to answer?
Oh, he absolutely does. What's interesting is that the people who are in favour of this ban can't quite get their story straight. So Ayub Khan has said this is purely about the Maccabi fans. They're uniquely violent and far-right and disgusting and all these things. You can't allow them on our streets. Whereas other people who support the ban say, actually, no, we want all Israeli teams banned. We want a boycott of Israel because of the so-called genocide, as they see it. So it's a very slippery thing, but I think it's very clear that what's going on here. It's very clear that this is just openly, at least, Israelophobia at the very least. Well, it does seem that way. They say they're trying to do everything in their power. Presumably, they can send more police resources to the area. It's also just not very clear how this decision was arrived at in the first place. This safety advisory group seems very opaque. We don't know who sits on it. Guido Fawkes has revealed that at least one of the people sitting on it has, been calling for Israeli boycotts in the past. So, we do have to ask, was this decision really come to in the proper way? And I would suggest just the outcome. I would think no, because what is the outcome saying? What are the police and the authorities saying when they say they can't guarantee the safety of these Israeli fans? They're saying that there will be racist violence, and we're going to give in to that violence.
That's the issue, isn't it? It's the idea of giving in to mob rule.
Exactly.
And yet it's their duty, isn't it, to protect everyone?
Well, unfortunately, policing seems to have changed quite significantly over recent years. Often you'll see that the police will take the path of least resistance on a lot of issues. So if you look at, for instance, some of the pro-Palestine marches, there will be clashes between different sides. And often when, there's been cases, for instance, where someone will hold up a sign that might provoke the Palestine marchers, like Hamas is terrorist or something like that. And the police will arrest the person holding the sign saying something completely lawful, because they basically are giving in to the mob. They're saying, well, we don't want to let things spiral out of control. They prioritise keeping order often over doing what's right. I'm pleased to see that the government wants to overturn this. I think if this ban goes ahead, this would be an absolute moment of shame for Britain, because we're saying essentially that visiting Jews are not safe to come to our second largest city.
Well, we may as well say no Jew, no Israeli can come to the UK.
It's a no-go area.
Absolutely. The whole of the UK is a no-go area. Maybe Birmingham in particular is a no-go area.
And if we said that to any Muslim group, I mean, can you imagine the hoo-ha?
And people would rightly be outraged. And it's really important to stress that, of course, if there are particular hooligan fans, they can be banned. That is often a done thing. UEFA often takes the lead in doing that. But under this ban, Emily Damari, who is a British Israeli citizen who is taken hostage by Hamas, Maccabi Tel Aviv is her team, the UK is her country, she cannot go to this game. I mean, how shocking is that? How did we get ourselves into this situation?